So we're coming to talk about today. We've decided to come together because we wanted to talk a little bit about open innovation. We also wanted to talk about this
Mm-hmm.
fintech system in
Mm-hmm.
Tokyo. So we've got a lot to talk about today. So why don't we first kind of begin with what is open innovation and what is the FINOLAB Tokyo?
Right. So maybe I can start from introducing myself. So I'm Makoto Shibata from FINOLAB, and I'm in charge of running the whole FINOLAB and also especially the community here in FINOLAB. So I can explain a little bit about FinoLab later, but I have been in the digital banking area for many years. I was with a large commercial banking group, MUFG, for many years, and for the past 20 years or so, I was in digital banking area. And I left the bank 2 years ago, and then I spent some time in UK to do some research, and then I came back to join this FinLab. And so, along with this whole my career, I've been working in this digital innovation area, and also I've worked in a large corporate, and at the same time now I'm supporting a lot of small startups to grow. So I've been in both world. So open innovation is something that many um, large corporates are starting to focus on,
Mhm.
and now many people have recognized the importance of digital innovation, but many large corporates realize that it is not easy to innovate by themselves
That's right.
because of conservative culture or limit in resource or maybe a speed of
Mm.
decision making, and they started to realize that it is better to partner with other specialists, especially startup companies focusing on specific area of financial service.
Mhm.
And we have seen many fintech players starting this open innovation route.
Mhm.
And when we started to talk about fintech maybe 6, 7 years ago,
Mhm.
many people thought that fintech startup would disrupt the existing financial service so that
Mhm.
the um, fintech startups and the incumbents, the large financial
Mhm.
institutions, were regarded as enemies. But after a while, people started to realize that there are not um, not only a competition, but there are a lot of ways to collaborate, and for the both benefit, we have seen a lot of working relationship happening. So I think that's one change in the trend in this fintech world.
Mhm.
And my FinoLab started in 2016,
Mhm.
and we've tried to make this open innovation happen.
Mhm.
So now we have like 50 startup members, and of course we try to support them to grow. And at the same time, we have 16 corporate members, and they are trying to collaborate with these startups, and also they would like to change their culture within their organization to bring in innovation element. So we are also helping that aspect.
Mhm.
So the FinLab is a fintech hub where we form a community and try to connect different players with different expertise.
Mhm.
So that's what FinLab is about.
Well, I'm really looking forward to talking about the community to talking about, how larger organizations and startups can work together. But
Mhm.
before we jump into that conversation, can you tell us a little bit about why Tokyo? Of all the cities, of all the places, on the planet, what does Tokyo have to offer as a fintech hub? Because we've seen, not only in the media, but we've also heard, government officials also saying that, they want to establish Tokyo as the next fintech hub of, of this kind of this side of the world. Tell us a little bit about what Tokyo is trying to do to attract fintech, or to become this kind of financial hub.
Sure. I've took the liberty to prepare a small slide. Maybe we can you look at this slide?
Yeah, I can see. And for
And
anyone,
for those who are not looking at the screen, I'll try to explain as much as possible. So one of the features of Tokyo is the size.
hmm
So of course we have a huge population, but also in terms of economy,
hmm
Tokyo can be number 16 in the world if Tokyo becomes one single nation. So that's
oh
pretty
wow,
big. So that was the data presented by Brookings Institutions
hmm
some time ago. And if we have a huge market, that means that we have a lot of financial activities.
hmm
And in terms of financial market, we have been fairly large, even though we have seen some decline because of the
hmm
competition from
hmm
other Asian countries like Hong Kong, Singapore, and also in mainland China. So the government in Japan is trying to expand our um, effort to keep Tokyo as an international financial city. And for example, for fintech uh, areas, we have like 500 startups. And also, um, there are more than 100 bank head offices in Tokyo, so
right.
that there are a lot of opportunities
hmm
for startups to collaborate with these financial institutions. And also, there are many insurance company, brokerages who have their head office in Tokyo. And we have seen fintech investment increase in the past 5 years or so. Um, so this year, because of the COVID-19, we are not quite
hmm
certain what will be the outcome, but we still believe that the sentiment to invest in fintech area is growing.
hmm
And also there are more than 50 innovation labs around Tokyo. So some of them are run by financial institutions. Some are um, established by tech company, or some are like us trying to incubate. But
hmm
there are many lab facility in Tokyo, and I think that is quite healthy um, environment for
hmm
any startups to challenge new things. And also, there are major initiatives going on with different stakeholders
hmm
around fintech. So, regulators and public offices are very keen to support digital innovation, and also trying to support um, entries of foreign companies in Japan, so that that would be beneficial to whole fintech ecosystem. For example, Financial Service Agency, our regulator in Japan, has introduced a regulatory sandbox where if someone is not quite certain about regulatory framework of the new business initiatives,
Mm-hmm.
they can go to FSA and ask for this regulatory sandbox. And you can implement your idea in limited environment or just with limited number of customers. But after uh, implementing this business for a few months, then with the evaluation of the outcome, um, FSA may come up with a new regulation or interpretation of existing regulatory framework,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe you will be rejected, but you will see the result in a few months' time. And that is quite unique compared with the past FSA approach to
Mm-hmm.
financial regulation.
Mm-hmm.
And now, Financial Service Agency and Bank of Japan both have a dedicated office to support these fintech initiatives. And also, FSA and JETRO and Tokyo Metropolitan Government, they are all starting to support entries of foreign startups. And FSA uh, announced recently that they will set up office facility to support all the um, requirements to be completed in English language, which
Mm-hmm.
is quite um, new initiative for
Yeah,
someone who's
absolutely.
in Japan for many years. And JETRO has been advocator for setting up a new entry in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and also Tokyo Metropolitan Government. Now they would like to improve the Tokyo's presence in the international financial world. So they have been quite keen to set up a program to support foreign startups and
Mm-hmm.
also financial institutions to come to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And other than the regulators, legal experts, investors, academic institutions, financial institutions, startups, all the stakeholders have been very active to move the fintech ecosystem forward. And I think in past couple of years, we have seen major um, effort
Mm-hmm.
from all these stakeholders to make this Tokyo environment very friendly to innovation challengers. And in terms of um, foreign startups or foreign financial institutions to come to a Japan market, there are three different stages. So first, they would conduct a feasibility study like market
Mm-hmm.
research, and then they will set up a company and start hiring staff, and then they move on to the actual business development phase.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get support on all these stages, and especially the challenges are coming to the area of entry point when they try to register a company or hire staff or locate the office. And now we are seeing that the government trying to support all these areas
Mm-hmm.
also in English language. And also the industry community is quite active to support these things. And I think the community is one very important factor if we are to see different financial hubs in the world, like London or Singapore or Hong Kong. And now we are seeing major communities growing in Tokyo. And so it's difficult to name all of them, but
Mm-hmm.
FINOLAB, we are one of them. And also, FinTech Association is growing, and there's a community called FinGate, and Plug and Play from US have entered Japan to set up their community. And there is a community called Tokyo FinTech Meetup,
Mm-hmm.
who consists of mainly a foreign person, engineers and business person interested in fintech area. They have formed a virtual community, and there's engineer community specific for fintech, and also their meetup or community of insurtech people. So there are a lot of these communities from the startup side, and also financial institutions are very keen to organize their own community. All the mega banks, MUFG,
Mm-hmm.
SMBC, Mizuho, they all have created certain physical office to attract these communities, and also life insurance company and other players like Nomura
Mm-hmm.
brokerage. They are quite active in this area. And it's quite interesting that most of these community and the facilities are located within 5 kilometers radius of central Tokyo. So maybe it's between Shibuya and also Nihonbashi, Kayabacho, Otemachi, Marunouchi, all these areas. So it's quite easy to access these community. So if any fintech related players are to come to Tokyo, it would be better to join any of these community to get the first-hand information and also share experiences of other players. So from here, it's about FinLab, and I've already talked about the FinLab. So we have many startup members and corporate members, and it's interesting that um, ab- among 50 startup members, there are more than 10 um, foreign startups who came to Japan to set up their operation. And we've been helping these players to start their business in Japan. And since we have very flexible office um, arrangement, and it's somewhat co-working environment, or you can have your dedicated space. So depending on your um, operation, we can be very flexible about these arrangement. And also we provide many um, advice to set up their operation here in Japan. And for the past 6 months or so, because of the COVID-19, we haven't had any inquiries from foreign startups, but recently some inquiries started to come back again. And actually, there are two companies working on their company registration right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's the sign that the things are changing a little bit in spite of the COVID-19.
Absolutely.
And for corporate members, we have um, large corporates like MUFG in commercial banking area, Nippon Life in life insurance area, Tokyo Marine in the collision insurance area, and also in digital communication, KDDI is our member. So I think this is a good community to join. And we have some global advisors outside of Japan to advise how the trends in fintech is changing, and also they can give us some guidance on what foreign startups are looking for. So that's about FinLab, and we believe in the power of community to change financial service with emerging technology. So that's something about fintech.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. Shibata-san, I have a question about community. So you were talking about the importance of community. What makes a strong fintech community?
Right. So I think one thing is diversity. I mean, you have to have different ideas and different approach to problems. And fintech is about solving certain social problems or pains of the customer, or solving some sort of problems. And think that the easy one has been solved by existing financial institution, but there are a lot of areas where problems are not solved, and you need to have a very flexible and diversified approach. And talking to people from different background, different um, ideas, you would come to understand what would be uh, appropriate approach to different um, challenges.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely diversity is one important aspect of community. And also, in terms of a financial service, it's slightly different from other industries since we've been regulated um, in many ways. So it is quite important to understand the regulation. So we, our community has a good relation with our regulators, and that is something of members of the community appreciate a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They can understand what they can do and they cannot do
Right.
with the existing regulatory environment.
Right. Yeah, I think that those are some really great points. We were speaking about diversity, and as we had our first conversation about this interview, one thing that you said really stood out to me. You can move from seeing a foreign startup or seeing a foreign market simply as an opportunity to consume, to seeing a foreign startup or a foreign market as an opportunity to collaborate. And I thought that was really interesting. Can you talk to us a little bit about how those foreign businesses might be able to set themselves up in Tokyo as kind of a trusted business partner?
Right. So I think it is very important to understand the market environment first, where their specific service or products can fit. So it may be a case that the similar service or product already exists. So you have to understand how you can differentiate
Mm,
yourself. And then you need to communicate with um, someone who understands to uh, promote your product or service. So typically, these foreign startups would look for a country manager. And once you come across the right person, you are in a good track to make success in Japan. But if you um, fail to find someone who really understands your service or product, which where to fit in Japan environment, then it's quite difficult to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. What industries, so obviously we're speaking about fintech, so we're obviously thinking about financial
Hmm.
services, but what specific opportunities do you see amongst your startups that tend to be that tend to have the most traction right now? What are the specific kind of business cases that seem to be most opportune right now in Japan?
Right. So one thing is there are huge personal assets in Japan, which is mostly staying in the bank.
Yes.
And the government has been um, making effort to make people invest these bank deposit into uh, stocks or mutual funds or more active investment opportunities, but
Hmm.
it's not happening so much. And I think asset management or this investment area has a lot of potential, and also um, um, making people aware of different investment activity is something that some startups are trying to work on. Maybe they are giving some educational materials, or some are providing the account management tool, or I think there are more um, opportunities for us to think about these things in creative ways.
Mm. That's a great point because we often hear, we also see that as in Japanese corporates, right? That they have a very large cash reserves, whereas foreign businesses tend to invest their money, make it a little bit more dynamic. But again, right now, for example, in a pandemic, where many companies have been hit really hard, Japanese companies, because of these cash reserves, tend to kind of manage the flow, manage the up and down a little better as well. So I certainly see how, yeah, the personal asset could certainly be a really big market as well. What kind of technologies? So now, we hear a lot about the technologies that are coming,
Hmm.
like for example, blockchain and things like that in the
Hmm.
in the fintech industry. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you might, or what kind of opportunities you see for blockchain and other emerging technologies in fintech?
Right. So maybe I often refer as um, ABC as
Mm.
leading technology in financial service area, AI, blockchain, and cloud
Ah,
computing.
I love that. I was trying to think of it.
And I think in terms of AI, we have had a similar technology from before, and there are a lot of way to use it. But AI has developed to a point where people can design AI tool without um, giving specific orders from the human beings. That means that these new technology called deep learning or machine learning,
Mhm.
um, the AI would learn from the past um, patterns of behavior, human behaviors, and the AI can come up with certain responses that which would optimize certain business processes. And I think this is quite different from the past, where you need to have very specific knowledge to use these tools to design the machine process. But now, if you uh, combine these deep learnings with huge data, you can come up with certain automated business processes, which are now used in, for example, customer inquiries or um, using um, market um, business execution, transaction execution, and all other areas. And I think this is quite big change for financial industry.
Mhm.
And we have to think about where some people who would lose the past job, and many people are now starting to talk about um, educating or relocating, and that's one area we have to think about.
Mhm. So if we were to wrap up our English episode as we transition into our Japanese episode, um, if what are you most excited about for Tokyo as that global hub, that fintech hub? What are you most excited about? Let's call it over the next 3 to 5 years.
Right. I think Tokyo has a market and also talent and potential. But Tokyo has not been publicizing that the extent that other fintech cities like Singapore or Hong
Hong
Kong
Kong, yeah.
were doing, partly because of language barrier and also a conservative attitude of government and financial institution. But it's now changing, and if um, someone who's in fintech area outside of Japan who are keen to seek for a business opportunity, I think Tokyo is one place that you should consider seriously.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So as I think that you touch on so many topics, and now we can certainly jump into them in Japanese. So for our English listeners, thank you so much for listening, and for our Japanese listeners, you can continue on to the next episode.